So, welcome to the Ocarine channel, where this is going to be one of the few faceless videos that I will post on the channel. So, obviously this refers to what recently happened, or the recent events in the Philippines. So, I'll give a little background later, and then we'll get into some of the reasons why. As you can see, the title here is "Why Are There, in the Philippines?" A commentary on recent events. A lot of what I'm going to say here is from my own perspective. Obviously, I have with me the sources from where these cases came from. So it's not completely opinionated, but let's get into it. You may be wondering why I'm doing this in paint. I like to illustrate when I'm talking about some things that are serious. So, but first, a little background. So, in the Philippines, there has been three, let's say, not educational, but incidents that happened inside of the academic institution. Let's start with June. You can see how bad it is. Let's start with June 2026. What happened in June 2026, you may ask? Well, two students, I won't call them perpetrators because that would get kind of a negative connotation, but let's say students did some very repulsive things with what we know as an illustration of what they used. That doesn't look like, there we go. Now, did anyone get hurt? A lot of people did, mentally and physically, and I believe someone has passed away, but they gave up. Remember, there were two people, two of these students who did this act, which is just repulsive. Next, we're going to be talking about something very recent, because I was actually very present online when this happened, because I had school, because during these times I wasn't. August 2026, we had another. This one was done by something repulsive done by just one, but the difference with this one, this was on live. That's supposed to be a red record button. I don't know what that. And then he had two of these. He had the little one, and then he had the big one. That's not what they actually look like. I'm just illustrating. Alright? So this happened on 18, around 11 a.m. 12 to 12 p.m. That's the time frame it happened. Obviously, it's not the exact time, but that's where it all happened. Now, moving on, actually, there was much more recent activity, although this was not a tragic event. Compared to all of this, the most tragic event, I would say, is this one right here. Because this one, you had the grasp of the gravity of the situation, because for starters, it was live streamed, and you could see how it all went down. It was not live streamed from the perspective of the victims, but from the perspective of the person doing. So, we have August 21, I believe. 2026, it's the same year. Nothing bad happened here, but what after obviously these two separate events went down, people are gonna be like, oh well, we're gonna have to increase security, and security increase they did, and they found these, I would say, contraband inside a bag of a student. Now, nothing bad has happened, but it was alarming that they found something like that. So they just found it in his in his backpack because of a surprise inspection. Kudos to whoever thought of that. Everybody needs a surprise inspection these days. You never know. You never know. But now, let's move on to my next point. Okay, now we're going to talk about, now that you know what happened, and before I start and begin, I just want everyone to know that this has become a very unprecedented situation. Because gun control here is very tight. Nobody can just get guns, let alone, it's not normal for people to have guns here. I mean, if you're a cop, yes. If you're in the military, yes. For self-defense, no. Any normal citizen cannot have a gun. Which is why I'm talking about it right now. Because this something is not, I will say, not an isolated problem. Why? Because three events went down, and what has the people done? I will tell you what has the people done. The people and the politicians and everyone and the officials, they say, for the first reason, it's video games. Now, I will play devil's advocate for now. Yes, video games, that can be a possible reason. Video games, they could turn, they could turn someone's frustrations into some real life incidents. But now let me play the opposing side. Number one is that, well, sure, you could blame the video games, but I'm going to be honest with you, that's not all there is to it. There's a lot of factors that come into play. And people are blaming video games for the primary reason, which is still valid. It's not completely wrong, but I don't know why. I would understand if it was the parents who saying this, or the netizens. That's actually understandable because, well, what do they know about the whole situation? But when someone from a very high position, like politicians, and even the police officers, they're saying that it's video games. Reporters say it's video games. And here's what's wrong about that. Something very wrong about that is that that isn't the... You can't just say that it was video games in a vacuum. Because I was noticing that a lot of them were just saying video games. I would understand if it was paired with a lot of other things that are on this list. But no, it's not. It's clearly... it's clear that they're trying to spread, I'm gonna say it, propaganda about how, oh, video games is making people, children, youth, violent. And I'm just confused because this whole fiasco of video games causes violence thing happened all the way in the US already. All the way in the West. for a very long time. In the 2000s, from the 1980s to the 2010s, it already went down. And the Philippines is not only just having this right now. And their favorite in this category, in the first category, their most favorite scapegoat is Roblox. And little Philippine politics here is that they've been actually trying to ban a lot of games that they deem violent. Roblox, COD Mobile, Mobile Legends, and all other stuff. And I get that, sure, Roblox has its own problems. That's for another video. But to say that, to tank it, to have it tank something of a tragedy, a national tragedy, and just to blame the video games, and not because I'm a gamer myself. I play a lot of games, but it's not that I'm defending video games because I'm like biased in a way, but I'm just saying, you really think that if you ban video games, it's going to change something? I mean, that's for another video. I could go on about that, but that would make the video too long. It can change something, just not in the way that we expect it to. What needs to happen, sorry, that's for another part, but let's go to the second reason. Now, this one is a better reason. Mental health. The people who did those acts may be sick in the head, or they are mentally unwell, they're depressed. But the thing is, what's wrong with this is that you can't excuse what you did just because you're depressed. Now, I'm gonna say it, just because you're depressed, you don't have to grab the thing. Don't have to grab the you don't have to grab the weapon to take your bullies out. No, that's not how it works. It's not gonna help you. And it goes the same for taking the weapon to take your own. Don't do that. And I mean, that's easy to say, but there's a lot of nuance to that. But still, even if you say that it is simply, oh no, he was struggling mentally, that doesn't excuse it. And if it happened because of that, then what does that say about society as a family, society, the well-being of a student, well-being of the how their peers are interacting, how their families interacting with them, their environment. What does that say about it? If it's because of that, then they must be so friggin' upset that they just do something like that. Now, would they? I feel like this is a better reason than video games, at least. I put an asterisk here because this is just the worst reason ever. As an outlier. Okay, this is an outlier because that's what they're putting it on. Mental health, it's a better reason than video games, but definitely you can't just excuse whatever you did by saying that I was sad. Okay? So there needs to be a bit more. Okay, I'm gonna say what we need to do about it in the next portion. Third, social media. Okay, this is a bit better than the both of these because social media is connected with the video games and mental health. So there could be a lot of things that you're seeing on your feed that would motivate you to do those horrible things that you have done, to motivate you to do horrible things. And I get it. And social media doesn't just refer to Facebook, Instagram, or it could also be the internet itself. You know, you could be browsing 4chan, you could be looking at your favorite people that did some bad things. You could be looking at some things that you shouldn't be looking at. So this is a better reason. Next is this. What is this? Now, this is just a little addition of mine because obviously I've been on the internet quite a while and I know why these things go down sometimes. So TCC, what's TCC? For a little background over TCC, it's true crime community. Some of them legitimize, romanticize perpetrators of crimes, which is bad. Never do this. Never go into this. I'm sorry, but I'm sorry to have generalized you guys, but still, that's basically what you guys do. I'm sorry. Next is nihilism. Now, this is from a senator, Risa Hontiveros, from the Philippines, saying that was all nihilism, guys, which is okay. That's actually kind of valid and much deeper than these three. Nihilism, as in, well, no lives matter, is in that's the kind of catch they're going for. And I mean, I understand, but nihilism is a philosophy. It's not some kind of motivating factor for you to do your things, to do stupid things with contraband items. Next is extremist ideologies. Let's go back to the June 2026 incident. They had the skull mask. I'll insert it right here. What the usually what they put on their faces. The skull, and I'm just gonna say it's it's giving National Socialist in German, if you know what I mean. It's just giving National Socialist, even if it wasn't. It's giving very militaristic right wing vibes. Okay, that sounded like I was assuming, but still, it is kind of giving, and yeah. Number 5, family. Family, not in a way that they kind of push you down, but in a way that none of them know how to handle firearms. None of them know how to do, none of them know how to hide whatever, they don't know how to hide. There's literally so many PSAs in the West how you should not let your kids have guns in the US, and you should always keep them in a very, very secure place, and you should never let them know that something like that exists within the home. That is just awful. Okay? Family, I blame it. This is the strongest reason. Family, look, sometimes they could be very laid back, and most of the reasons why all of these happened is because students and the youth and the kids were able to get their hands on the weapon because the weapon was just hanging out there. The weapon was from their relatives that was a police officer or a cop. Now, let's move on to what we can do and what should we do. Alright, now we're moving on to this list. What should we do about it? Now that we know what kind of tragedies could await us if we don't act upon it. Number 1, please, proper handling. Like, just don't let your weapons hang out everywhere where your kids could get access to it. That's just it. Number 2, internal changes. Now, let's go back to the reason of video games. When you're banning video games, what are you doing? You're taking something external away from us, away from the children, away from the youth, and you can take the games away from the kids, but you can't take the gamer from within, outside, or from the kids. There's still going to be gamers, and you don't reverse the damage that's done on us by doing that. When I mean internal changes, I mean do some amendments on the laws, change and you know change the charges on younger perpetrators. Do some internal charter changes within the law. As a pre-law student, you as a pre-law student, that is the most important thing ever. The rules have to change. You Because if it doesn't, and if it remains that way, it's kind of a bit lax, in my opinion. So that is what I mean by internal changes, because that's the only one of the only ways we're ever gonna secure how the future will be. Number three, increase security in schools, in everywhere. Increase the security. Like, do checks everywhere. I know they already do checks at school, like that, checkpoints, but it's not enough sometimes. Sometimes they're kind of lax, and that's kind of what annoys me as a person who goes to school myself. Number four, and this one is kind of controversial for some of you. Do not do this drills like that. Why? Because number one, here's the possibility. What if, see, they fail to kind of notice that the ones who do the, these right here are the students themselves. Now, if you're going to educate students with these kinds of drills, don't you think that what if that the possible future the possible future perpetrator learns from these drills, so when they actually do the act, they know what to do. They can counter it. They have inside information, which is just, I know it sounds counterintuitive, but do not do these. Do not do it. Please, the schools, I urge them not to do it, because when you do it, what if the person that you're educating is the same person that's going to do the act itself, and now he has weaponized the knowledge that you gave him, so he can better counter the drill itself. See? And also, some of the drills, I'm gonna say, it's just so inaccurate. You can't just do a drill on something like that. You can't just do a drill on these things, because, for starters, the people who do these are erratic. They're kids, goddammit. Or you don't know what to expect. They could have a grenade or something. Sorry. Number five, urge for safety seminars. That's my sorry. Urge for safety seminars. Now, obviously, it's not the same as the drills, but safety seminars, maybe this could be like a seminar where you let people know what numbers to call, what you should do, not a drill though, but what you should do, and how you would approach it, what your mindset should be, and what can you do when it's currently happening. See, because if you do a full-on drill, then they're definitely gonna be like, now I know what the school is gonna do in order to avoid me. Haha, I have the weapon. Haha. But instead, we just do the safety seminars. They do say like seminars like that. It wouldn't have to be. It doesn't have to be the same as the drills because this is a seminar. It's completely different. The scopes would be very different. So now we know all of this, and if you've got any ideas on what else should be done, leave a comment below. Also, here's going to be the part where it's just going to be full of my opinions. But I'm gonna be honest with you, it's pretty stupid for you to, you know, back in the June, I mean, in August 18, 2026, the one I showed you before, it's pretty stupid to go on a live stream and do whatever, like, do what you did. I'm gonna call shame on that guy because that's just, here's number one, it's very copycat of other people because other people have done the same things just in different countries. It's very copycat. And putting on a body cam, what you expect that it's like a game? No, it's not. Like, it's very copycat of that person to do that. And I do not, sorry, I do not care if you were depressed. You should not do that. That's not something you do when you're depressed. Anyways, two people died. I mean, two people passed away. I have to censor a lot of words here, so that's the video. Thank you guys.